Good morning and good afternoon to everyone joining us for our first breakout session of the Young SDG Innovators Summit 2021. My name is Mathilda Weibel from the UN Global Compact, and I'm the program manager for the Young SDG Innovators program. If you joined this event earlier, you likely know what the program is about, but in case we have some people in the audience who are less familiar with what it is, YSIP is one of the UN Global Compact's accelerators. It stretches over a 10-month period where companies from all over the world select teams of young professionals or innovators, as we call them, where they're asked to define a sustainability challenge the company is facing and to develop a solution to that challenge. However, this session is not about YSIP per se, but definitely check out the solution showcasing after this if you're interested to learn more about the SDG business solutions that the teams have developed this year. Now, I'm very excited to facilitate this session today, where we're going to talk about what I believe is a very important topic, namely the retention of young talent within companies. Typically, we tend to feature more senior level people on our panels at our flagship events, which is why I'm delighted to be joined by 4 of our young innovators that have participated in the program this round to provide their insights and their views on the topic of youth retention. To just give some background information on this topic, it can take a company 6 months to break even on its investments in a new hire, as the cost of recruiting a new employee goes well beyond paying their salary. Besides the recruitment process, the new hire needs to be onboarded, trained, equipped, and it usually takes months before the person is actually integrated into the workplace. Retaining employees is therefore usually more cost-effective than hiring a new person. So what is needed in order to retain young professionals and keep them motivated in your organization? This session will explore this question and aims to understand what practical steps a company can actually take to increase its retention of its most valued employees. So I would now like to welcome to the stage 4 of our panelists. Chris Chu, who participated in our Chinese YSIP program. He is a category demand and supply planning manager at Nestle. We have Rose Maghas from Kenya and the founder and CEO of the company Rova Digital. Then we have Tenna, who works as a sustainability manager in Carlsberg, joining us from Denmark. And finally, Aleksandra Kalchu from Ukraine, where she works as a marketing communications officer in the company Caparol. Welcome, everyone. Please join me on the stage.
Hello. Thank you, Mathilda. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Chris.
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Right, so instead of starting with a question to one of you, I actually wanted to kick things off with a little bit of an interactive hand-raising exercise to identify which motivational factors that are actually important to you. So I'm going to give you 2 motivational factors, and you will have to raise your hand for which would influence you more to stay at your company. So I'm going to give you 3 examples. The first one is a pay raise versus a promotion. Raise your hand if a pay raise is more motivational. And then a promotion. All of you, interesting. The second one is a tricky one. A healthy relationship with your manager versus a healthy relationship with your team. Raise your hand if you choose the manager. Raise your hand if you choose your team. Oh yeah, Tenna, you. Okay, so 1-3. Great. And then the final one, a clear career path versus training and upskilling opportunities. Raise your hand for clear career path. And raise your hand for training and upskilling opportunities. Great. I'm quite curious about that one. I actually tried this out yesterday in preparation for this session. How come Rose, maybe you can start, but why do you think everyone chose training and upskilling opportunities for the last question?
Personally, I believe that at the end of the day, in any organization that I work for, it's about the brand Rose. And if I have that opportunity to train and upskill, I can be able to offer more to the organization than just a simple, career path that is structured in a particular way and really doesn't factor in the person Rose. What are those things that Rose wants to do and skills that you want to acquire, as opposed to, a clear path that is just career? Because again, we are also in a dynamic environment where the job descriptions, the titles that existed more than, about 10 years ago, some of them don't exist and some of them will not exist 20 years to come. So really, it's about upskilling the individual to be able to fit into any role, for me.
Great. Aleksandra, do you agree with that? Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I agree absolutely, because I believe that never-ending studying story, it's a new trend. And when you're studying, when you want to know something more in your professional sphere, or even not professional sphere, about culture, about history, I think you promote yourself at your work, and with your partners, you have more topics to share and more topics to discuss. So that's why I believe that when people study a lot, they have a good path at their career.
Great. And then I have to call you out, Tenna, to ask, you're the only one who raised your hand for a healthy relationship with your manager. How come you chose that one?
Well, it was a difficult choice, but I think at least a manager can really help pave the way for you. When you have a really good manager, that can be very benefiting when they are able to sort of throw you in on the deep waters and have faith and believes in you, and can be your sponsor in different areas to actually help you grow. I think that is very important, but not to say that the relationship with the teams is not important. That is, of course, also very, very important. And I think to the previous question, I think that a career path is maybe a little bit more old-fashioned. I mean, in some functions, I think it can still make sense, but I think for the millennials in general, perhaps it is more the training part. I'm also in a role of sustainability where there is no clear path as maybe in other functions. So here it's more important that working on growing the role and growing me in it, you can say, more than some kind of step-by-step. Yeah. Great.
No, I think all of those answers make a lot of sense. I can definitely resonate with what you have said yourselves. Chris, too, I would like to give the word over to you and ask you a question, maybe quite straightforward, but can you put some words on what it is that keeps you motivated in your job on a daily basis?
Yeah, so actually, I would like to say there was something important when I joined the company, and then gradually feeling and digging out that is important to motivate me. Because at start, actually, I don't know what can motivate me from a company, right, when I join a company. The first thing I would like to stress or to address is that the trust and respect. This kind of thing, I think, is very, very important as a base for everything else. So if you have a trust, then you will be easy for others. And you can have a team be more easy, more efficient to work together to make excellence. If it's not there, and then everything will be slow, and you will maybe guess, can he do that, or can he make it? Should I really assign job to the guy, and should I really should put more monitoring or keep more tracking with him? And this kind of things can be sometimes a barrier to avoid people to be more motivated to do things, be innovative, to create new value for the company. And they will feel they're not getting trust, and they will slow down. Okay, I follow every guidance from my manager or management to do what they want just. So that's the first thing I want to say. And also, I think there would be a very simple example given from my side. When I was just maybe 3-4 years in my company, Nestle, and then I was assigned to be a coordinator of very, very important regular meeting. So I need to coordinate with all management, with the CEO every month to review the importance, the achievements, everything there. And by that time, I'm very, surprising and very get a big fear. I would say with my manager that can I do that really? But I think there's something make me more comfortable is that from him that if I trust you do that and you trust me, trust my choice, you just trust yourself. So that things really give me confidence. And step by step, I think it's now become more and more easier for me to do that, to go coordinate, and then I can talk with the senior, management here more, not like youth, but really like a colleague to be more trustful and open on everything. And another one I think to very simply highlight is this company should be open to encourage youth to be innovative and to talk. I got the chance from Global Campus China Work and Nestle China here to join our YSDG program. Actually, this program is very interesting one because I met a lot of young guys there, and they're talented, they're passionate, they're innovative. So similar to what I felt from my company, and these young guys really seems encouraged by their company to contribute by their innovative idea. So there's no restrictions, so they are allowed to speak, to give idea, and there will be response. And in addition, this company most likely have their own platform, more than this YSIP, which I joined now. So they will have an internal competition to encourage their internal youth to come together with more innovative idea, help on sustainability and or other things to be more, to give more importance for the company. So I have to say, these things, trust, respect, and be open to innovative, encourage youth can really motivate. Thanks.
I think that was a very comprehensive answer, and I would actually like to hear the others if you agree. Is it trust, respect, and creating what I'm hearing a platform where you can actually create or get your ideas and your innovative feelings forward into the company? Rose, would you like to comment on that? Do you agree, or would you like to add something?
First, of course, I do agree, and those are very key components to any relationship, whether it's a workplace relationship or any other place. And therefore, given that we spend a lot of time in the workplace, that becomes a very essential and baseline components that you need to see in a workplace. However, for me, I also want to add maybe 2 or 3 other items. One, a new term that I've come to embrace in the workplace is individualization. I really believe that, a company is a sum value and characteristics of the people working there. So, that, at the end of the day, when you look at any organization, it's how you view the organization, how you feel around the organization is really about the people that are there and the characteristics of the people, the different values that people have, the different personal goals that the individuals have and why they're there. So for me, I think one of the big things that would motivate me if I walked into any workplace, or every so often, if my manager or somebody I work with asked me, why did I take that job? To understand, is it still valid for me? Why did I take that job? Was it just because, I took the job because I just needed the salary? Or did I take the job because it's going to promote a particular value that I have as a person, because it's going to promote a purpose that I have, that I stand for, or whatever else it is that it defines me as an individual. So for me, that would be a big one. And if I was in an organization that every so often, 6 months, a year down the line, somebody asked me, why are you still at this job? And can understand why I'm still there and really, maximize on that, because I believe that in the personal growth, then there is, the organizational growth. And so for me, I think also, because when you look at any organization, however big it is, you will always be in a team of between 7 to 15, no more than 30 people in a team. And so in that small component, in that small unit of individuals, do we value each other so much so that we understand what the value that I bring in? You understand who I am as an individual. Am I just, am I a mother? Am I, a sister to anyone or not? Do I, have a spouse or not? And those particular things that happen off of the workplace. So for me, I think individualization is the word that I would use, that there is the individualization in our interaction.
Yeah, and I would also say that speaks a bit to a very progressive concept where, a lot of times in the past, you put on this facade or this face when you go to the office. But lately, it seems that office spaces and cultures really want to be able to enable people to bring who they actually are, their individual selves, to the workplace and be actually who they are together with their colleagues. So I think that's a very good point. Aleksandra, I would like to hear from you as well. I think it's a question with a lot of different perspectives. What is it that motivates you in your day-to-day work life?
Thank you for the question. I heard lots of different thoughts from other participants, and I think that we think in the same way have the same values, and it's great. Because as for me, I think that the work, it's not only your everyday job from 9 to 6 p.m. and knowing that you do something for product or for some process. It's something more. You should know in your company that you create something great. You are a part of history, of saving the nature, for example, and especially about SDG goals. Yes, I think that when the company is going to achieve SDG goals in its processes and products, it gives an opportunity to people to realize that they do something more than just a work. And also, I thought about people, about team. And I think a manager should be like a part of a team. And all of us is a team which creates our work atmosphere. And I think that when a team inspired and they engaged in the same aims and they have similar values, they could do great things. And also I want to give an example from my work and from SDG Camp of Innovators, where I am now. We have a project from our team of innovators, but we couldn't do it by our 3 people. We need also some information and some support from the colleagues from other departments, for example. And when we started to call to other colleagues and to ask some questions or some help, everybody said me and other participants, "Oh, wow, you're working on such good things. And maybe you need additional help. How could I help you? What could I give you?" So I think such things are very inspirative, and I'm proud of the team, and also I'm proud of the project, that it's very interesting to others. So it's my opinion, and now I'm very motivated, I should say.
That's great to hear. Sounds like you have a really good workplace culture going for you.
Yeah.
And I would like to flip the question around a little bit. And while you can also comment on what motivates you, but also maybe you can comment on, are there any workplace factors, hypothetically, that would have a negative impact on your job satisfaction? Tenna?
Oh, sorry, I wasn't sure if you were asking me.
Yes.
Sure. I mean, I think to answer the first and then come down to the negative, I think I agree with the others a lot. I think there has to be some kind of why are you going to work, right? There has to be, there's a lot of talk about purpose-driven companies, and sometimes it's a bit fluffy, but it is actually super important that you feel like you contribute to some kind of higher meaning in what you do. And taking it down to one thing is the purpose of the company, and then the other thing is your concrete job, that you feel like you create value, that you feel like you accomplish something. You go home and you've accomplished something that creates value for the job. I think it's very important. I also agree with the points on identity, that it is important you can somehow resonate with the company's values, what it's the brands. So we sell experiences in Carlsberg, you can say, like that you have some kind of way of identifying and having a big company or big brands or like behind you is also a way of giving you mandate. So when you are as a young professional, which all of us are, when you are in a room, you also have you sort of have mandate behind you, because it's a big company that's behind you. So that kind of gives that's a very also important thing in at least why in retaining talents, I think. On the negative side, I would say personally, if it's like a very something that could be at least demotivating for me, if it's this very you can say old-fashioned, very hierarchic structure where you can say the way of thinking is more based on titles and silos and hierarchy, and not on people's abilities and competencies despite of age or gender or all these factors. I think that would be something that would have a very negative implication on my job, for sure. That it has to be a more modern workplace, and have the flexibility also. Yeah, just to mention one thing.
Yeah, no, interesting. I think bureaucracy is usually used as one of those, classic examples where it can be difficult to get motivated because things are just stuck in its place. But flexibility is also interesting, I think, especially here during 2020 and 2021, with returning to the workplace, as some of us are privileged to be able to have done in parts of the world. How important is that? I'm going to give the word over to you, Chris, in terms of flexibility, and then maybe also add some points for what really would be a negative factor that would affect your kind of job satisfaction.
Yes, thanks for the question, Mathilda. Actually, I think Tenna's question is very, very meaningful, and for me, I would like to add maybe 2 points. The first one, I think, is about the relationship between senior and youth in the company, and especially with your line manager. Sometimes if we see some example, or I get some information from my colleague or friends there, the most frustrated thing is that they are older to must do something by some time. So there is a very strong order with the force to you to make it. However, they don't talk with you, communicate to you with what is the meaning behind it, what's the meaning of this job, of the work, how it contributes to yourself, to the team, to the whole organization, to the society. So without that one, even you do a very great job being forced or being pressured with that, you cannot really happy. So maybe you can do it great, you're not satisfied because you don't know what you do it for. So that's things which I hear from very young people, because maybe their manager is too busy, they have to throw a lot of things to the table and say must do that. and then they will be confused and worrying, and if should I do this for whole life, or whether that can make me develop or not. And this kind of thing is improving. However, I would say generally, if some young guys facing these things will be very frustrated. And talking about this, I also say it's a must do that. I think there's something between or in an organization, in a workplace, you have to build a relationship more than the just reporting line. So when you give some order or give some task with your team, let's say, which coming back to your question, you want a more healthy relationship with your boss or team, I choose second one, because when you have a good relationship, a healthy relationship with team, that's the team can be more efficient. It can have a strong engagement. They can be fast, efficient to achieve the very important goal or difficult task, and that is nothing for them. And that's also mean this as for me, that will be ensure the team not be frustrated. It's not mean that a healthy relationship with both is not important. Back to the question, but both always be tough. So in some situation, I choose second one. But yeah, so that's my answer for this question, Mathilda. Over to you. Yeah.
Great, thank you. And then maybe Rose, can you put some more kind of practical words onto a tangible initiative or a policy that your company has done or implemented that have made you want to stay with your current company, or where you can see that your staff has wanted to stay with the company?
Okay, yeah, so yeah, thank you very much, Mathilda, for that. And I first to just echo what the colleagues have said about the things that for sure would keep you in an organization. I will use an example for my organization, Rova Digital. We have a program that we are calling DIGAI, and this is Digital Girls in Artificial Intelligence. The program, the initiative was actually born out of the fact that as a woman, I've been in the industry for about 15 plus years, and I still have a challenge getting my peers on platforms when we're talking about decision-making level and really in key roles, especially within our context in Africa and locally in Kenya. So this particular initiative has a plugin around mentorship. And the mentorship part of it also goes beyond just the mentorship for mentor-mentee, but it goes back to the grassroots and takes these girls, as much as they are on a platform that is, career building, it takes them back to their community, to where they went to in early childhood education, and be able to connect to that to inspire the upcoming. Remember, these girls are between the age of 18 and 25, but we already showcasing to them that they can go back and talk to the 15-year-old and be able to say, hey, there's a pathway ahead, and that be able to connect, because sometimes connecting forward when there are very few people ahead, it becomes such a challenge. So the fact that they are connecting backwards then tells them, hey, there is a bigger mass behind there, and they're able to connect and impact more vis-a-vis looking up to role models forward, which are fewer and scattered and everything. So that is one of the initiatives for me that I think I'm excited about. These girls so far, it's a program that started this year. We at the YSDG innovation program, the YC program, we did present a project that is dubbed the Kids Coding Camp. And this is actually a project that is driven by the girls in this particular initiative, the Digital Girls in Artificial Intelligence. So you can imagine, we already have the 18 to 25-year-old, where most of them are up to 21, 22 years old. They are already impacting the skills that they have learned to children between the ages of 6 and 17. And because of that particular initiative, we did have actually girls from that particular program do training for girls in the Commonwealth during the International ICT Day in April. So you can see that for me, that's a big thing that I was talking about, individualization. But remember the first part that I said, for me, it's brand rose. So when you look at, for example, my colleague who is in that particular program called Daisy, she's building a brand as Daisy, and the organization is helping her to actually, it's a vehicle to do that, putting her on a global platform, connecting her to her local, to her grassroots and all that. So for me, I think that echoes the part of individualization and connecting to the purpose of the individual. Because when you meet somebody like Daisy, she will tell you, my passion is in girls in ICT and just getting to empower girls in ICT. Yes, we do projects for our clients and all that, but because of being in this particular position, she's able to live out her purpose. And actually what was very exciting is we do have a client who we are looking to sign up, but the conversation was the reason they wanted to plug into that is because we have girls developing the solution that they want to adopt. And for them, they were like, oh, well, that really speaks to my empowerment of women in my workplace, that I can consume an AI product. This is an artificial intelligence product. I can consume this project, but it has been made by girls, women between the ages of 18 and 25, and therefore connects. When we're talking about the sustainability development goals, we're really talking about how we're empowering the women, how we're looking at gender, how we're having a work environment that then is conducive to the generation that is coming up.
Thank you so much. I think that was a beautiful answer and really shows like if you can integrate those kind of SG components into the very culture and the strategy of the company, you can go really far. So thank you so much. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for. I wish we could stay longer and keep talking about this very interesting topic. But I would like to say thank you to everyone who has joined this panel and this session. It's been really great. And I hope that the audience has also really enjoyed listening in and taking some good takeaways from the discussions that have taken place here. So thank you to all of you. Please enjoy the rest of the summit. I look forward to seeing you there.